Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Live. Now, art lovers in and around the mother city are currently being treated to a feast of creativity this weekend as the city hosts the 2022 Investec Cape Town Art Fair. This comes after a hiatus from being able to host a physical event due to the pandemic. This year sees more than 98 local and international exhibitors from 20 different countries, including 17 first-time participants taking part in the 9th edition of the event. Now, for more, let's speak to one of the artists that are taking part in the fair. Artist Abdus Salaam, self-taught. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's nice to be here again.
Let's talk about participation at the art fair. How did that come about?
Yeah, so the gallery that I'm with and the organizers of the art fair put this together and made it possible for me to have a booth at the Tomorrow's Today section of this year's Cape Town Art Fair. So it's just been wonderful.
Now, the theme, Seeing Tomorrow's Talent Today, what was your interpretation of that?
Yeah, so there are 8 booths in the Tomorrow's Today section. That particular section is there to highlight emerging artists in South Africa, artists that are sort of young in their career, in the timeline of their career, and the whole thing is they're really just trying to showcase the future generation of art in South Africa. So.
What lessons came with working on this particular piece and working under this theme?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Talk to me about your understanding of the theme and what lessons came with working on this particular project.
Yeah, so actually each booth is separate. Each booth has a different theme according to each artist. In my booth, the body of work is called Soft as Stone. What I do is I forage in the mountains of South Africa for paint. So I find stones and I turn the stones into paint. And then I use those natural pigments to make my paintings. And it's really, it really takes it deep into my work because in many ways my work is about nature and about natural beauty and about really connecting ourselves with nature and seeing the poetic beauty in nature.
I want to talk about that. I mean, your work is rooted in poetry. What is it about poetry that speaks a language that you understand?
Yeah, I think that I write a lot of poetry, and I really think that art itself is a poetic language, but it's a visual poetic language. And so as I change and grow and learn things and examine life and the world and just have experiences, I write about them poetically, and then those words and those images and those ideas, I transfer those into a visual language, which is art.
And I mean, you're a multidisciplinary artist, which means different, disciplines speak to you. Why do the combination of those disciplines work in trying to get your message across?
Yeah, I think because I think words have fewer limits than physical mediums. And because my practice is very much rooted in poetry, I need many different mediums in order to express exactly what I'm trying to visualize, what I'm trying to say metaphorically and allegorically. So, yeah, I dive into photography because I love light and I love being able to use light. I use natural pigments because I love nature and I love how colorful nature can be. I use wood and I use tree rings and I use all sorts of mediums in order to just really tell the fullest story that I can. Artists are storytellers, and so for me, if I can tell a story successfully, then I've succeeded at what I'm here to do.
And it must feel great to physically go to the fair. It's been virtual for the past 2 years because COVID has presented its own challenges. What does this mean to you personally to be able to do this again?
It's just been amazing. I was speaking with someone yesterday and they said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're here and it's not online." And I said, "Yeah, my work, because all my work is the same size in this particular booth. I said, yeah, my work is 1.2 meters in diameter, not 1.2 inches in diameter. So, when you look at something on a screen, it's so small and you can't really feel it and you can't really experience the detail or the intention of the artist as they would have intended it to be. But seeing something in person is just really, you can't beat it. And being able to talk to people and, really tell them more about my practice and tell them more about that. And then seeing everyone else's work and it's just, you meet artists and you meet writers and you meet, just people who love art and you meet collectors. And it's just been amazing. It really has.
Yeah. I see here that your sculptural works are inspired by the natural changes of stone over time. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I get boulders from the mountains or from quarries where people are extracting minerals and things like that. I work with jasper and I work with African turquoise and I work with sandstone. I try to use South African stones. And what I do is I get this rough boulder and then I imagine how water and wind and rain and time would change the stone and sculpt the stone. And so my sculptures are very much inspired not only by the stone itself, which is natural, but by natural forces that would have shaped that stone.
Mm-hmm. And the art fair is currently on at the moment. What do fairs such as these do for artists?
They do everything. I mean, they allow us to connect with collectors. They allow us to, it's basically, if you can imagine, you have your own show. You might get 5 or 10 or 15 collectors coming to your show. And it's really the collectors that drive the art industry and drive the culture forward. And so to be able to have hundreds or even thousands of collectors all together in one specific space, all walking around and collectively deciding which works are worth adding to their collection and which artists are worth supporting, that interaction is just absolutely invaluable. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
All right. Abdus Salaam, thank you so much for talking to us. He's a self-taught multidisciplinary artist from Cape Town. He's taking part in the Investec Cape Town Art Fair that is currently underway in the Mother City. All right.